We got folks in Albuquerque and on the line, I think. Let's just do a roll call. This is Dave Dubois over in Las Cruces.
Anne-Marie Mathern in Albuquerque, USGS.
Les Owen in Las Cruces, New Mexico Department of Ag.
Chuck Jones here at the National Weather Service office. I'm joined by Molly Magnuson from the State Engineer's office, and our MIC, Sean Bennett, is here as well.
Is there anybody else on the call?
Yeah, this is Richard Hyman, NOAA National Climatic Data Center. I'm the U.S. Drought Monitor author this week and next week.
Welcome, Richard. And I think Victor said he had another call, so I don't think he's going to be on.
Yeah, he won't be on. Susan, are you there? She may just
Yes, I'm here, Susan Bryan with DAC.
Great.
Okay. Anybody else? Alrighty. Well, let's get, as we usually start at the beginning, let's start off with the National Weather Service report. And I think Chuck's got the, does anybody have any problems with the go-to on their computer? You should be able to see radar reflectivity loop on there.
Thanks, Dave. I wanted to show this starting off. There's a very deep low near San Diego right now, and just sitting there spinning its wheels and bringing Arizona copious amounts of rain and high elevation snow. And once this storm starts moving tonight and tomorrow, this band of heavier precipitation will shift toward New Mexico, and New Mexico really looks like from late Saturday into Sunday, the state's going to get pounded by a good dose of rain, a little bit of sleet, and a lot of snow in the higher elevations. And even the lower elevations Saturday night are going to pick up snow. That even includes the Albuquerque area. We're looking at, maybe it depends on how much east wind impacts the snow amounts, but where the snow band's set up. But we're thinking anywhere from an inch or two in the valley to upwards of 6 inches out on the West Mesa, where all the models, including our local model, are suggesting the heaviest snow will be. So, and we're talking feet in some of the mountain areas up north, 1 to 2 feet easily. Could see a couple of peaks that get close to 3. So, a very impressive storm heading our way for the weekend. That's it for the weather. Now let's talk climate. Maybe. Here we go. Back to normal, so to say, for October. We ended up below normal. Quite a bit below normal, actually, across the state. So we'll see. It was 28th driest, I think, on record. So pretty dry month overall. But in terms of 28th driest. There we go. But in terms for the year, it dropped things a little bit, but not a whole lot. The statewide average, we're still looking at close to normal, 98%. Central Valley here at 112% was the best, and Southeast Plains Climate Division down here 89%. But overall, not too bad for the year. Although when you think about it, it was July and September that brought us up to normal. Otherwise, we'd be in dire straits. Looking just at how that ranks with other years, 40th wettest, i.e. 78th driest. So not too bad for the year overall, ended up above normal precipitation-wise. You may ask, well, you said 98%, and this is showing a surplus of rain. We use, NCDC uses a different set of data than we use here. I think ours is a little more comprehensive. We use 52 sites to determine our figures. Just to look back at the water year once again, from October of 2012 through September of 2013. Not bad, 93% of normal across the state, with right about normal here in the Central Valley, and again the Southeast Plains lagged behind with 86% of normal precipitation. That ended up being the 68th driest or the 50th wettest water year on record. So again, the last 12 months then, November 2012 through last month, 68th driest on record, pretty darn close to normal. We look at the 24 month, we're starting to get drier again. We're down to we're up to the 24th driest on record. And then we peak here at 36 month on this next slide, where we're the 4th driest on record. So yeah, again, I'll point out, a short term, we've really put a dent in the drought, but when we start talking 2.5, 3 years, long-term drought, we're still quite dry. And even if we look at the 4 and 5 years, we're 13th and 12th driest on record, respectively. So 3, 4, 5 year period, we're still pretty dry. So far this month, at least to the 20th, most areas below normal, but there is a pretty nice area here in the northern mountains, and west central mountains, down here in south central part of the state where we've been normal to above normal. And actually a lot of the snow tells and the ski areas are picking up decent snow there so far this month, and obviously they're in for quite a bit more over the next 48 hours. So things should improve actually statewide as we go through the next few days. Drought status as of just a couple of days ago, actually yesterday. Not much change really since we last met. It's actually a little bit worse. And we'll see that here on the next slides, and we'll start to compare them to last month and 3 months ago. What we've done is what happened is a little bit of deterioration into the extreme drought in northeast New Mexico, and we've lost some of our no drought situation down here across the south. So we've gone, we'll show it here. We were under 75% of normal for moderate to extreme. Now it's about 79%. And over 99% of the state is abnormally dry to extreme drought. So, but that's certainly better than 3 months ago, even in August. Now, as we go through the next couple of months, we're not going to see the big change, obviously, as we get into September. Looking back. And just to point out where we were at the beginning of July, or late June, actually, the 25th. Incredible improvement thanks to the monsoon rain, and especially the 8-day period in September where the state was deluged with rain. Look at some of these stats here. It's pretty impressive. Nearly half the state was in exceptional drought, and obviously none right now. Okay, let's take a quick look at some moisture conditions. We look at this from time to time just to get an idea what's going on in the soil. Despite the dry October, soils really haven't changed too much, at least down in deeper moisture. We're talking 20 to 40 inches down through the middle of this month. We can see that here from Sebayeta through the middle of the month. Here's this year. And you can see the big bumps that we had in July and then again in September. Now we've dropped down about where we were for the start of the year and in past years. So it really did help, but the fall value is just a little bit higher than what it was in previous falls, as you can see here from the 2010, 11, and 12. So we're a little bit better off, obviously, than we were previous 3 years. Not so much the case as we go farther southeast, crossroads. We can see here this year, not much change from the past couple of years anyway. They did not get in the heavier precipitation over the summer and also in September, as we saw over the center part of the state in western areas as well. All right, we've seen what's been happening, and take a look now down the road. We talked about this last month, the human interpretation versus the model interpretation. So I decided to show both probabilistic forecasts this month. The bottom one here on the bottom left, that's the human consensus. And note that they're heavily favoring ENSO neutral conditions, not only through the winter, but through the spring and into the summer. Whereas the model consensus, plume-based probabilistic forecast, suggesting almost equal chances of an ENSO neutral and El Nino pattern setting up by the summer. So, and then here's what all the models are suggesting, and you can see they're trending toward neutral or perhaps even El Nino type conditions as we head through later in the spring and into the summer. So obviously we'll have to wait and see on that, how that's going to work out. The next month is looking like the next 30-day outlook for December as we head toward the winter. Below normal, it looks like perhaps favoring the eastern part of the state, especially far east central plains, where again temperatures are heavily tilted toward above normal for the month of December. And this is CPC's official winter forecast now, December through February. Unfortunately, they've increased their chances for below normal precipitation. They feel a little bit more confident on that being the favored condition for the wintertime period. And then again, we're looking at above normal temperatures being favored, especially for the southern half of the state. So that's not looking too good through the wintertime for New Mexico. And then the seasonal outlook to go along with that, they're expecting development or worsening of drought over southwest and southern New Mexico. And that's all I have, but I am open to questions.
Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, the scan jives with. I was looking at the GRACE soil moisture percentiles on that are available on the Drought Mitigation Center website, and it's sort of the same story. The seems like the driest is over on Lee County, and then parts of southern Roosevelt, and then over in it doesn't show it as well, but it's over on the far southwest corner. So just a little note. And it looks like does it look like this current storm, is it going to mainly favor central and northern, or is it going to impact the east and the areas where the maybe like the far southeast corner, southern?
It'll affect the entire state to various degrees. It looks like western and central will be the favored areas, especially north central, obviously over the mountains with the help for the orographics and Same thing out west. As you get over on the eastern plains, probably not as much snow, but certainly enough to cause travel concerns and problems.
Okay.
Some freezing rain in Roswell right now.
Oh, okay.
And most of the precipitation should be in the form of snow by later tonight and tomorrow. Might get a little sleet mixed in, but overall we're looking at mostly snow event now coming in for tomorrow night and into Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I met with a few of the. We had a farming meeting before I left to go to the Drought, the water conference, and there was a few of the dryland farmer folks there. They're concerned about how much precip they were going to get, mainly on the south part, Otero County. I'm just looking at the ACES. So let me do this again. I just looking at departure. Like in Roswell. Give me a second here. They're more than 3 inches behind since the beginning of the year. 3.46 at Roswell. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what after this weekend. Maybe Monday, because I was looking at the QPF from a couple days ago, and it looked like it was mainly most all of it was going to sort of miss far south. It was still going to be some rain, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking at the QPF right now, and it's got about an inch liquid for most of the state.
Okay, good. All right. So we got this one. That's the 3-day. Okay, it was looking better than I was looking at 2 days ago. So that's positive. Great. But still, not. It was still the far southern Luna, southern Doniana. It was in the. What is that color? The 1/10 of an inch.
Yeah. Don't ask me about colors.
Oh yeah.
From about a half right at the border to up to 2 inches at the northwest there.
Yeah, there's
North totals.
2.7 bullseye there, southwest Colorado.
Yeah, that's just San Juan. That's helpful.
I mean, the ski area, right? Wolf Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Right over Wolf Creek.
That's
I think there's
2 feet.
taking 3 there. Yeah, I think they're going.
Yeah, it's one thing I've been telling folks is that if you look at the 3-month outlook, December, January, February, it's still showing EC in Colorado. Like we're still seeing that the 33% line all over New Mexico, and I guess that's, I don't know what the next one's, 40% below normal percentile or percent.
And then 50 here.
Yeah, so I guess that is it's sort of a positive thing that at least we're not showing a increased chances of below. But we don't want to see any brown anywhere. Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, so I guess Raymond is not on the line, I'm assuming. And I didn't hear Wayne on either from NRCS. And I didn't. Did you guys get anything from Wayne or
No.
or from Curtis? Anybody? Okay.
No, I don't. Nope, it did not. At least as of noon.
Yeah. I don't have a graphic, but I was showing at the water conference yesterday. I did a Snowtel group for all of the Rio Grande Basin, and I included also the one in Pecos, and it was showing. It was all, they were all within that group. They were all above the median for this time of year for snow water equivalent, and it sounds like it's going to stay that way after the storm. Increase above a median. So that's definitely positive.
As I recall, the last couple of winters have started off good, and it just fizzled severely during
Yeah.
the late winter spring.
So that's what I'm hoping to see the continued. We need that continual storm tracks to go over our area, because that's what we missed on those, right? Okay. So let's did you guys, I guess we don't have any of the snowtail stuff, so let's move on to Anne Marie, USGS report.
Okay.
Did you send me
I don't know if you have the
anything in?
report that I sent in or not, but I'll just talk through it anyway. So this report, USGS report, is on stream flow conditions for the 2014 water year. So at this point, what we're looking at is October compared to October for the period of record. 21 stations, mostly relatively unmanaged. And just to review the ratings, average is 90 to 110%. So below average is below 90, above average is greater than 110%. 13 out of the 21 stations were at or above average for October. The range was about 11% to 133%, with a median of 95% for the 21 basins, which is actually pretty good. By basin, San Juan River Basin is represented by the gauge on the Animas River, and that was at 129% of average. The Upper Rio Grande tributaries came in at 92 to 132% of average, with the Jemez River at 74%, and the Upper Rio Grande main stem represented by the Rio Grande at Taos Junction Bridge at 120%. Canadian River Basin, the tributaries in Colfax County, which are the upper tributaries, 99 to 111%. That hasn't really carried on downstream yet. The tributaries in Mora County were at 11 to 21%, and the main stem at 53%. The upper Pecos gauges in San Miguel County, Pecos River at Pecos was at 122% of average, and Gallinas at Montezuma was at 111% of average. Similarly to Canadian River Basin, the lower basin gauges don't really reflect that. The lower Pecos in Otero and Eddy counties have streamflow conditions ranging from 27 to 59% of average. Last two gauges in the Gila Basin, Grant County, Mogollon Creek is at 25% of average, but the Gila River at Red Rock is still pretty high, and that was at 95% of average. And that's what I have for this month. I apologize I didn't get the map updated, but those are the values.
Thank you, Anne Marie.
All right, thank you.
Okay, any questions before we move on? Okay, so I think we have Molly. Are you on in the Weather Service office?
I am.
Okay, so we want to give our Office of State Engineers report.
Sure. So this is our report for today. I do have some of the standard information on reservoir levels that we've been providing over the past few months. I did get my data from the Corps of Engineers site, preliminary data from November 20th, except for Ute was from the USGS. And then I used NRCS data for my last year and average storage values, except again for you. With the same legend that we've had with the current storage, last year's storage, and the average. So this is Navajo, which is, I think it's right over 900,000. 950,000 acre feet. Pretty close to last year. U is a little over last year. Right over 140,000. Santa Rosa, far over last year. And far over average, so that's great on the Pecos.
Who would have thought that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a surprise.
Sumner, kind of the same story as Santa Rosa, is way over last year's values and the same time last year and quite a bit over the average. And Brantley, we go down the Pecos along the same lines. So the Pecos is, that's looking pretty nice as far as reservoir storage. We have Heron, which is, we're on the Rio Grande now. Heron is, almost a little bit over half of what it was last year. So that's not quite as good as the Pecos, and we could say the same thing about El Vado. Lower reservoir levels here. Abiquiu. Oh my gosh, I lost my Abiquiu arrow. A little bit lower than it was last year, and it's under the average level.
Bad though.
No. Oh, there's my arrow.
Yeah.
So Elephant Butte, it's pretty low, pretty far below average, but better than last year. We can say that. Still not close to full by any means. Same for Caballo. And that's our website where all these reports will be put up in the near time frame.
Okay, thank you. So we have the Drought Task Force. That's scheduled?
On the 12th, yes.
So December 12th?
In Socorro.
Socorro.
Just for you, Dave. We got it closer to you.
There you go. The next is TRC. So any questions for Molly?
Yes, this is Richard, the Drought Monitor author. I'm wondering, I wanted to make sure I understood that the New Mexico reservoir graphics that you just showed would be put up at the website?
Right. We put all of our drought monitoring work group reports on the website under the monthly status report, which is, you're right there on the left.
Okay, because that's an excellent resource, I think, for drawing the depiction as far as showing the hydrological impacts and the really long-term impacts. Because as we've noticed, it's been wet recently with the monsoon. And how do you balance that wetness with the 3-year, 4-year dryness? And these reservoirs would be a good indicator of that.
Yeah, and it's also a big indicator for the how much variations and how impacts like the Pecos, how quickly things can change in a basin like that, whereas it's a slower, more gradual, harder to improve the Rio Grande. Because that basically, if I got it right, basically that came up in like 12 hours. That improved from near empty to full.
Wow.
Oh, on the pickup.
Yeah, on the Pecos. Yeah, like the Santa Rosa Lake went up, 30 feet in less than a day. Which is totally, that's mind-boggling. I mean, it's not that big, but it's still big, pretty big. And the farmers there, they said they're set for the next irrigation. Whereas last time I talked to Phil King, there's still doom and gloom in the irrigation districts in southern New Mexico. But a little better off than last year. I think that was their story. But still not much for irrigation. And maybe Les can talk about that. And also I've been archiving the audio on our YouTube, since I never got any negative feedback. So if whoever misses it, I have it up on the Climate Center website. Not the website, but the YouTube channel. So, all right, let's move on to NMDA with Les Owen.
Thank you. Yeah, it's exactly like you said. The farmers that depend on surface water along the Pecos drainage are, in much better mood than they have been for the past couple of years. And the folks down here in EBID and, the lower Rio Grande are not a whole lot different than they were. It's a little bit better, but not great. The monsoon moisture that we got was well timed to promote growth of warm season forest grasses throughout the state, which you can see in the tables there. There's a lot of improvement in the range and pasture condition as to what we've seen in that earlier in the year. And some traveling around the state, some areas look great, some still look pretty bad, and there's a lot in the middle. But it was certainly well received. With cattle prices the way they are, it's certainly, folks aren't chomping at the bit to run up there and buy a bunch of cows just because of the rain, and that's so. I would expect that our state cattle inventory will be decreased again when the January 1 estimates come out. The first part of next year, but not a lot of information in there. It's just right now. Folks should be about done planting winter wheat, and I don't have any figures on it, but I would expect the numbers to be down again this year with the dry weather we've had and the somewhat grim predictions for moisture. There's probably a lot of folks that aren't going to sow their wheat in. Beyond that, I really don't have anything else to add unless anybody has any questions.
Well, on the other end, were there any issues that you know of with too much rain during that September? Not being able to harvest, or any negative things? They just let it dry out and continue.
Right when it was happening, of course, there in some of the localized flooding areas, I know there were some folks that were having to get livestock out of the way, and certainly had some silted up fields and things like that. As far as harvest or anything, I didn't hear any large deals there. Just up around some of those drainages up around TRC, there was a lot of small farms and stuff that got flooded out, and likewise around Roswell there in the Pecos Valley that where the significant flooding happened. Of course, there were some pretty significant impacts if you were the one that were underwater. But as far as statewide, it wasn't, a huge deal.
Okay, good. All right, any questions, other things for Les? All right. And I didn't hear anybody from FSA, either Joyland or Emelita. No? Okay. Mark them. So any other questions, any other comments do you want to pose to the group? Okay, so we have to wait and see what this storm system does. for some outlooks to see where our drought monitor is going to be for next week. We'll have to wait, I guess, till maybe Monday to get some impacts.
Yeah, I was going to really wait until the precipitation ends, or basically moves out, and looking at the little bit that I've written so far, my initial thoughts. Let's see, radar. Let's see. Oh. GFS has precip out of east before the weekend is over. Out of southwest by Monday. So
Okay.
probably I could do a changes in New Mexico by Monday afternoon, I would think. But what I'm thinking of right now, if we actually do get the precip that the QPF, that the models are forecasting, I can see some improvements. But how I would do the improvements, I'd want to temper them by the long-term dryness and the reservoirs, and also the ag report that were discussed this afternoon would be very good guidance for that, which is why I asked where they are. In fact, just in case I have problems accessing the webpage, if you could email, I've got the agricultural report from Les. If you could email the reservoir graphic, I guess that was a PowerPoint to me, that would be very helpful.
I can do that because it takes our webmaster a little while to put this up on the site.
Yeah, having that for Sunday, I plan to come in Sunday and do some initial graphics work. I can use that to kind of guide how I want to make the changes. That would be helpful if you could email it. Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah, I might as well just email it to the whole group. I think I would
Okay.
be good to have that. Well, very good. Any other last minute things? Let me open up my calendar. So according to the schedule, the forecast, the CPC updates theirs on looking in December on the 19th, the third Thursday. And I've heard some negative feedback on our times having it during lunch hour. So let's I propose moving it back to 10 a.m. And if anybody, and I think Chuck mentioned that he will be available on the 19th. Is that still option, Chuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great for me. I just pushing for that day because I'm off on the 20th, but I could do the 19th and still get everything put into the PowerPoint presentation. If I came in at 7 or 8 in the morning. So.
Okay, that sounds good. So if I don't hear anything from anybody else, let's do December 19th at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Sound good?
Great.
Okay. So if there's anything else, the group just email it out, and I think the folks in the Albuquerque National Weather Service office is having a weather briefing. Is it 2 or 2:30?
2:30.
2:30. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Right? So let's.
To 60 people yesterday.
Oh wow! Great. Well, we need to pay attention to weather changes quickly. So, well, if nobody else has anything else to add, we will conclude this call and continue next month on the 19th. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Bill.
See ya.